are discussing here today the relationship, that is the building partnership for great customer experience. So there are two parts to it. One is the relationship or the partnership between the client and the BPO partner, and the other is, of course, the end objective, that is the customer experience. So let me start with you, Sachin. The question here is there really a partnership?
Yeah, I guess the partnership today is how we define the partnership. Partnership in my mind is when two or more individuals or more teams work together for accomplishing certain objective or task. And they both carry certain stakes in the success or failure of that task. Now how it works is that there is a customer which is at the core, the customer experience. And two very, very important things which need to be integrated and looked at. One is that the cost to serve for the client and the return on investment for the business partner.
Right.
And we many a times we go into a kind of a stalemate wherein one is achieved at the cost of the other and the partnership breaks or it starts deteriorating. So there is a huge scope what you need to invest into very well defining the objective, service objectives, what you want to offer to your end customers, and then look out for a partner who is suitable to play in those domains, but then ensure that he is making enough profits by virtue of delivering your customer experience. So indeed there is a partnership, but there is a hell lot of work need to be done to sustain it or on a very, very long period of time.
But that's easier said than done. You're saying that you need to work and find out how you can deliver the customer experience, but also ensure that the partner makes enough profits.
Yep.
Well, coming now to you, Snehal, the common view is that there is always a misalignment between the expectations and the economics of this entire thing. Of course, the objective is to give a great experience to the customer. That's where the entire thing starts. But somewhere down the line, the approaches, which is called the nail-down approach, there are specifications as if you're buying some commodity, and then you invite a bid, and somebody who gives you the lowest bid is taken on board as a partner. Now, is this the right way to do? Is there a misalignment? Do we really want to work towards the customer's great experience, or is it cost which drives the entire process?
So I think it would be foolhardy to assume that cost is not part of the equation. But I think every organization defines its priorities and defines what they mean by experience. And for instance, our voice contact center is not outsourced, and we choose to want to run it ourselves because we believe that that's an area that we can provide better quality service and specifically better information. What we can do to control cost there is to basically not be a 24/7 call center, for instance, and for instance, be a 6-day call center to try and make sure we can manage costs better. But I think to your point, I see this as an evolution. What is the requirement today cannot be the requirement 2 years from now or even a year from now. The context of what the customer believes is information or experience is evolving, whether that be at what information they get available from your website, from your call center, from social media, from your branches. So I think the partnership that you build with your suppliers is based on what is relevant today and cannot be set in stone for the next 3 years. It is something that will keep evolving, and both teams, both sides, have to keep working at it. But the key part is that it is a partnership. And so there has to be enough skin in the game for both sides to ensure that the success of the relationship is not simply driven by revenue or margin or cost, but something beyond that.
But you still have this a captive center running.
We do. So we have part of it is captive and part of it is outsourced. So we do some pieces which are not related, for instance, that relate to reminder services for premium collection as outsourced, but customer service for our customers is still captive.
We'll come back to that later. So coming to you now, Vik, let me ask you a question. Do you really involve, or does everybody else also involve the BPO partner in designing the entire process? Or is the process handed over to the BPO partner and then you ask everybody to come and deliver the process on the lowest cost possible? So,
Sure. So our experience has been that we've had some success. Intention to have partnership is always there. So I think it's about defining framework. It's also about not assuming that it will all remain the way we have spelled it out. It will evolve, and it will continue to evolve in the current disruptive environment. So that is my take on this, Salil, at this point, that intentions does exist on ground. Cost is one of the reasons, but being purely a service-oriented organization, as British Airways now positioned itself as, and not as an airline, customer remains at the heart of our business. And I think when we are doing outsourcing, we are not doing outsourcing about the processes. Actually, it has a people-to-people contact, and that's where we go into even a face-to-face contact. So we have some challenges there about bringing the quality of manpower. How do we still keep the standards that we need to maintain at 270 airports across the network to still deliver those same 4 values across? So it does have a very inherent inbuilt challenges when we look at globally about what we are looking at to deliver to a customer a very standard proposition.
okay. We'll come back to the standardization across multiple centers, of course, when you have multiple partners.
Sure.
That's a big challenge in this relationship. But now coming to Rajesh, let me ask you a question. The onus of getting a technology partner into the discussion lies on whom? I mean, with whom? Is it the BPO partner who should engage with the technology partner for a better process? Or is it the client who should get the technology partner along with the BPO partner and discuss the entire thing? What happens usually? What is the ideal way of doing? And why is it not happening that way?
Salil, thanks for the opportunity. One of our key learnings has been that customer experience is a joint responsibility between the client and the BPO. While we all understand it, we acknowledge it, but in the trenches and on the ground, we see a very diverse result coming out of it. On one side, we have extremely successful partnerships, which are built on collaboration and are extremely collaborative. On the other end of the spectrum, the same spectrum, we have BPOs, which are extremely cost-driven up models. Sorry to say, there's very little focus on the human element that really delivers that moment of truth also. There's absolutely no focus on that. And when there's no focus on the human element, it clearly reflects on the customer experience. And hence, there's a huge amount of stress in the relationship between the BPO vendor and the outsourcer. Now, it is what it is, and I think it gives us a huge opportunity as a technology partner to be part of that circle of responsibility. The onus of that, I think today lies with the client. It lies definitely with the BPO. And I think there's a huge amount of onus on our shoulders also, that we should be able to educate the BPOs and the clients on the value that we bring to the table also. So that's how I see it.
Great. So Sachin, you mentioned about the cost definitely being part of it. But you also, I remember earlier, had mentioned that there are different segments and you should not look at all the segments in the same way. If I can pick up example from the telecom industry, you'll have a service which is for the masses and which could be for the low ARPU customer, and that could be different from the customer which is high ARPU and which will also go on 3G and other stuff. So does it really work that when you look at these partnerships, do you really select partners who have different capabilities, or you give all the segments to one partner? That's first question. And the second question is that really the processes are designed separately for all of them, and the cost takes precedence in the masses, but the process and the experience takes the precedence in the other. Does it happen that way, or we all end up talking and doing the cost plus?
All right. We define our service strategy for all 3 segments, which is purely mass, and then which is typically a person who is a very low ARPU customer but will have for sure service needs, and he requires the fulfillment of that without any frills per se. Then there is a middle tier which we call value segment, where there is an opportunity to handhold him, to educate him, and influence him to buy more or opt for more subscription. And then comes, there is a premium class, which is the elite class who is used to of using these services, top-end services, data services, and so on and so forth. Indeed, we keep all these KPIs separately. There will be certain basic KPIs which will remain common because I'm sure telecom services are highly regulated services. So there are reference audits done by the government agencies. So we need to keep base level intact for all these segments. But then to top up that, we have differential KPIs for different segments. And when we do the partner shortlisting, we keep the capability of that partner to a large extent into our site so that we don't miss out. There is not a mismarriage at a later stage. So we take references, we see what kind of a businesses they are doing to keep that as a consideration criteria while selecting. Having said so, we work with the partners to make it a successful model. But for other segments, we work very closely with them to really look at possibilities like Idea Factory. That how do you really work as a customer voice capture engine for us. And there are incentives, there are programs wherein the suggestions from those partners are then worked upon by our marketing teams. And I'm proud that many of the products which we launched actually had the roots at the voices captured at our call center. So that's how we really capitalize on those kind of things.